Rise and shine. 6 a.m. and your hand can't make it to the alarm clock before the voices in your head start telling you that it's too early, too dark, and too cold to get out of bed. Aching muscles lie still in rebellion, pretending not to hear your brain commanding them to move. A legion of voices are shouting their unanimous permission for you to hit the snooze button and go back to dreamland. But you didn't ask their opinion. The voice you've chosen to listen to is one of defiance. A voice that says there was a reason you set that alarm in the first place. So sit up, put your feet on the floor, and don't look back, because we've got work to do. Welcome to the grind. For what is each day but a series of conflicts between the right way and the easy way? 10,000 streams fan out like a river delta before you, each one promising the path of least resistance. Thing is, you're headed upstream. And when you make that choice, when you decide to turn your back on what's comfortable and safe and what some would call common sense, well, that's day one. From there, it only gets tougher. So just make sure this is something you want, because the easy way out will always be there, ready to wash you away.
And not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it.
Let's get started, guys. Morning. What are we talking about? Quality. Signed a training sign-in sheet this morning, fellas. Typically, you sign in a safety meeting sign-in sheet. You sign a training sign-in sheet. There's a little more significance to that, because you really need to walk out of here understanding the words coming out of my mouth, because we're going to talk about quality. And we had took some pretty good digs through the audit of last week. Guys not understanding where our quality policies posted. We posted 10 more yesterday. We posted some big ones. I'll run through that real quickly. A big one like this in the quality trailer, I'm going to call it. There's a big one like this in the fabrication office. There's a big one like this on the wall. There's a small one on the bulletin board in the break room in there. There's one in the waste shop if you happen to go in there into their break room. There's one in the break room on the on the shipping and receiving building where we are. The break room downstairs. There's a big one downstairs in that shop. There's one in the VT, the VJ, and the VS control rooms. There's various ones that are posted back there at the mechanic shop. So it's pretty important that you guys understand that we have a quality policy. It's equally important to understand why we have one. What made us do this? What's making us go through a year of tweaking and trying to figure out exactly where we are so we can make the next move and be where it is we think we need to be. And actually, quality is something that's been around for a while. And the guy whose name comes up when you start talking about it in the USA, his last name is Deming, William Deming. And he came up with a bunch of different, I guess, various cycles to look at industry and to look at business and to look at charting your deficiencies and putting processes into place to get your deficiencies out of the way, to become more efficient, to become more cost effective. Industry was booming in the United States when he came up with these ideas, and as he approached different companies, they pretty much took a pass on him. We don't have time for this. We're making good money. Doesn't seem cost effective to us to do all this training, to pick apart everything we do. And he wound up going to Japan. You ever buy anything that says made in Japan on it? Japan embraced what he was selling. And what he was selling was quality. And so we're in the 50s and Ford Motor Cars is making cars in America, and they had so many cars to make, they did some contracting in Japan, and they had transmissions made in Japan. people started wanting to wait for the cars with the transmissions from Japan. And Ford Motor Cars couldn't figure out why. We've got a specification for our transmissions. Japan's making them to the same specifications we are here. Why does somebody want the transmission from Japan? Well, they had a tolerance. The tolerance that they would accept was 1/8 of an inch. Japan said we'll only accept a 1/16 of an inch. So the transmissions that came over here from Japan were built to a tighter tolerance when we said, a little slack's not going to hurt anything. And the end result was having a better transmission that gave a smoother ride that made people want the transmission from Japan. So, you know, we took a pass on something way back when that's pretty vital to your organization. So what does quality mean to an organization? I might have to put on my spectacles, guys, because I really want to tell you what not paying attention to quality means. And some of you guys have probably heard of some companies, maybe you haven't. Sharper Image, anybody ever buy anything from Sharper Image? Enron, you ever heard of Enron? Polaroid was the cornerstone of cameras and film developing for years. Bethlehem Steel, White Star Lines, they built ships. They built the Titanic. Commodore Computers, these are all companies that if you go in and you read about what took care of their demise, they took their eye off the ball. And typically taking your eye off the ball is profit is going to supersede some other things, which typically is not going to work too long for you. To give you some other examples, there's a little company called Thiokol. Thiokol makes O-rings, and they made O-rings for the space shuttle. We had a space shuttle disaster, right? Had some people killed. They told NASA before they launched, based on some testing we've done, don't launch your space shuttle. NASA didn't listen. The end result was killing some people. Car companies, Toyota, big recall. What Toyota did was they had a floor mat that was capable of scooting forward, that had a lip on it that was capable of making the accelerator stick if it scooted too far forward. Toyota had a new president and he was looking at profit. Quit listening to the employees. He wanted to make more money. He wanted the company to make more money. I think after the recall and how many billions of dollars, 57 people lost their lives because of a floor mat. BP had some cement that, for all intents and purposes, didn't get tested properly, and they went with it to save some money. Everybody knows the end result here. That's the largest man-made disaster to this day, what happened to BP. So every company out there, no matter how large, has a tendency at times to take a shortcut and cut corners and to lose sight of the prize. The prize is a quality product. The prize is everybody doing the best they can at every turn on a daily basis. And again, I said last week, everybody standing in this room is contributing to whatever leaves this yard today. In some form or fashion, everybody in here contributes to the whole. So it's important that everybody walks the same line and everybody's concerned with their output. So for those reasons, and many more, we've decided to become ISO certified. ISO certification does a lot of things for us, and they're not all just a pain in the ass. It makes us stop and check. So what you're going to do, man, is you're going to catch something that you're making 50 of before you cut 50 of them the wrong size. You're going to check, and you're going to check off that somebody checked, and it's going to move to the next step. So it actually puts some kind of methodical process in place for you to make you understand that somebody else is going to get this when I'm finished, so I have to pass it on to them where it doesn't need to come back to me. I don't need to do any repairs. I need to do the best I can. And fellas, I think that's something that when you're born, it's kind of, you're instilled with. I want to do a good job. I think everybody that drives through that gate every morning comes in here wanting to do a good job. So I don't think we're telling you to do anything that you don't want to do. Just understand that When we find something that we perceive to be a gap, we need to correct it. It's not punishing you, that's not looking at you and singling you out. I think y'all know now, after almost a year being in this process, no one's lost their job because we get an ISO certification. We'll continue to work with everybody that's over here, but we're going to continue to try and improve how we do things. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read the quality policy. And the reason I'm doing this is through an audit, and it's coming up. You'll be asked, do you know anything about the quality policy? Through going in there and doing your evaluation, you're going to be asked, do I know anything about the quality policy? It's real easy to say no. It's going to be the wrong answer after this morning, right? Because you do know something about it. And I think anybody in this room always has known something about it. We're just going to pick it apart to a little greater degree this morning, and maybe you'll have a little better understanding of it. This is a trimmed down version of our quality policy. Versabar is firmly committed to the belief that quality forms the foundation for a successful business growth. Versabar will strive in every area to provide our customers consistently with excellent service, value, and satisfaction second to none. You hear that a lot. Customers are who pay your bills. We want to satisfy ourselves, but ultimately we have to satisfy them. So what satisfies us might not satisfy them, and we might have to gear up and do something differently. But that's the prize. Quality objectives. Versabar's commitment to quality, as stated in this corporate quality policy, will be realized by the passionate pursuit of the following quality objectives. Total customer focus. We will strive to ensure clear communication and understanding of customer requirements. We have to understand, if we're going to build something for somebody else, we have to understand to an exactness what it is they want. We can build something for ourselves, and we can change the drawings every 5 minutes, and we can hold. We're looking at doing something different. Customers typically come to us, and they're spot on about what it is they want us to do for them. We will inspire confidence among our customers by rigorously adhering to our agreements, customer requirements, procedures, and reporting. And that's how they grade us. And if they come in here and hand us a project and we can't do that, they're not going to come back in and hand us another. They're going to go find somebody else. Professional trained personnel. That's you guys. We've done a lot more training in terms of quality to make sure that we realize where we need to be. We realize that fulfilling our commitment to quality requires the dedication of each and every team member. That's you guys. Therefore, we will foster a quality culture within the company by ensuring that all team members are properly trained, competent, and committed to the quality procedures set forth in the quality manual. And if you feel like you got some gaps, get with one of the QA guys, get with a supervisor. If you got some questions, get with a supervisor. If you feel like you want to know more, get with someone. Come and find me. Quality management system. We will maintain and decimate a documented quality management system which will provide policies and procedures for implementing the corporate quality policy. Everything that's part of the QMS has a document number on it. All of these documents are called control documents. They're etched in stone until we have to make a change, and no one's allowed to make a change unless it goes through the proper channels. So it's a pretty tightly run operation when you're dealing with ISO. Continuous improvement, and this is the important one, fellas. As we continue to go along, we'll get farther down the road than we are now, and there'll be more changes. So accept and understand that that has to be within a business that's going to continue to operate. You have to strive to continuously do what you do better, because somebody's nipping at your heels. We will constantly strive to improve our services and customer satisfaction. We will continuously monitor our processes and procedures for efficiency and conformance to customer requirements, and conforms to the Versabar quality management system. We will review and improve our quality management system as necessary to ensure the highest caliber of service is being provided. Anybody can argue with anything I read? We have to keep our customers happy, fellas. Sounds kind of funny, we're not at Best Buy, but we have to keep our customers happy. We don't always see a lot of our customers. We never see the guy that writes the checks, but they see our work, and that's how we keep them happy. By pulling some information in from them that requires us to build something for them, and sticking to the technical specifications and doing the best job we can with it. We are doing that. We were doing that before this came down the pipe. We're doing it a little bit differently now because we're documenting a lot of processes that we weren't before. So continue to do what you're doing. Understand that this is going to bring good to the organization, not bad. How many people have been evaluated? The company has never done that. It wasn't something we just decided to do. It's legitimizing the organization. So a lot of things are going to come down the pipe that should do just that. So embrace it, fellas. It's not going away. You leave this company, there's a good possibility you're going somewhere else that's going to be following the same process. Do the best you can. If you have a problem doing it, and it's our problem because we're not providing you with what you need, speak up about it. That's another thing we need to do here, fellas. Communicate. Let us know where the gaps are. You're the guys that know. Again, a lot of companies that went down the skids stopped listening to the employees, started looking at the dollar signs. And you lose sight of who's out there and understands what's going on, and you've lost your company, in my opinion. Keep up the good work, fellas. Everybody understands where we are? Good deal. Quickly, we'll let safety go away. Man lifts. If you're operating a man lift, and we had some damage on a man lift, not all man lifts are made to slam the compartment you ride in down to the ground. We're capable of tearing up hoses and stuff. If you don't know how to properly operate a man lift, you probably shouldn't be in it. Be careful with the man lifts. They're not all exactly the same. They do the same thing, but understand the piece of equipment that you're getting in. We're probably going to pay a pretty hefty bill on a man lift that has damage, and we don't have any idea who's damaged. So be careful with the equipment out there, fellas. That goes with any piece of equipment. Be careful on the golf carts. It gets crowded on the yard. We got a lot of trucks in here, and it slows everybody down, and then we kind of open up again with wide open spaces, and you notice everybody going a little bit fast again. I don't stand up here and talk to you guys without talking to myself, fellas. So I'll be doing the same thing you guys are doing because that's something I noticed myself yesterday. Don't have many things to dodge right now, and you tempted to put the accelerator to the floor, and it's probably just not a good idea. Might be walking out of the heat, fellas. Continue to drink water. Continue to make sure what you're doing, take other people working right around you into consideration. Your process might affect somebody else next to you. Continue to analyze what you're doing. Continue to use the right tools and equipment. Continue to inspect it before you use it. These are all vital things, and we're fixing to have an offshore audit out at Shell. These things become methodical, fellas. You're not going to hear anything out of my mouth today that you hadn't heard. You're not going to hear anything next Friday that you haven't heard. The important part is that at some point or another you embrace them, and they become ingrained in your head almost as well as they're ingrained in mine. What y'all got this morning?